What are you guys doing out here?
We was just chilling, that's all.
Just chilling?
It was getting hot in the car, so I just took my shirt off.
Well, when I walked up, you were putting your shorts on.
No, my shorts, because a lot of times in my shorts, they get kind of stuck.
How old are you?
I'll be 48.
What were you guys doing?
Huh?
What were you guys doing?
We were just sitting back, talking, and I told the cop, I said, I took my shirt off because it was getting hot in the car.
A noise complaint. That's all it was supposed to be. Just another routine call about loud music at an abandoned golf course in Palm Coast, Florida. But when those deputies shone their flashlight into that gray Toyota Camry on the night of July 14th, 2022, what they saw was a 48-year-old pastor, a man who stood before his congregation every Sunday preaching about morality and righteousness, and a 15-year-old boy, both frantically pulling up their pants. What happened next, captured entirely on body camera footage, would reveal just how calculated, how predatory, and how deeply this betrayal truly went. But before we see those shocking moments unfold, let me tell you about Alfonso Joseph, a man who positioned himself as a pillar of spiritual guidance in the small communities of Palm Coast and Bunnell, Florida. Born on November 6, 1973, in Brooklyn, New York, Joseph had built what appeared to be a life dedicated to faith and service. He attended Harry Van Arsdale High School in Brooklyn before eventually making his way to Florida, where his journey into religious leadership would truly begin. By 2005, Joseph had become deeply involved in religious ministries, holding roles as an overseer, essentially equivalent to a bishop or elder in church hierarchy. He wasn't just another face in the congregation. He was a leader, a guide, someone people looked up to and trusted with their deepest spiritual concerns. He served as a principal in Vision Soul to Win Crusade Ministries, a Palm Coast-based organization focused on evangelism and soul winning, founded and led by Bishop Frederick Lawrence. In 2018, Joseph became a principal in Vision Covenant Connection Incorporated, another Palm Coast entity described as a religious organization with a focus on covenant-based fellowship. Around 2019, he founded Vision Cathedral in Bunnell, where he conducted services and made announcements as the senior pastor. And from approximately 2020 to 2022, he served as a pastor at Destined for Greatness Ministries, located on North State Street in Bunnell. On social media, particularly Facebook, Joseph cultivated an image of dedicated spiritual leadership. He shared photos of himself in clerical robes, positioning himself as a community figure committed to bringing people closer to faith. There was even a 2019 video that captured him rapping to children alongside Bishop Frederick Lawrence, emphasizing faith themes and trying to connect with the youth in a modern, relatable way. His profile name on Facebook was Overseer Alfonso Joseph, And to anyone looking at his online presence, he appeared to be exactly what a spiritual leader should be: devoted, accessible, and passionate about serving his community. But underneath this carefully constructed image of righteousness and spiritual devotion lurks something far more sinister. Because on that night of July 14th, 2022, everything would come crashing down in the most shocking and disturbing way imaginable.
How's it going, sir?
Hey, how are you?
Stepping out of here for me? Shut the door for me?
What you doing, man? You have any weapons on you or anything like that?
No, sir.
You got ID on you?
Yes.
You have your ID on you?
No.
You don't have any ID on you?
No identification.
It's alright, sir. I'll get your name. You step over here.
Go to my car right there.
Okay.
Step over there. Just stand right there. Lean on the car for me. Put your hands on the car. Now I'm just going to pat you down for weapons, okay?
Here, right here.
It was around 9 o'clock in the evening when Flagler County Sheriff's deputies responded to a 911 call reporting loud music near the dormant Matanzas Woods Golf Course in Palm Coast. The area was abandoned and isolated, making it a spot sometimes used for private activities that people didn't want others to see. When the deputies located the source of the noise, a gray Toyota Camry, and shined their flashlight inside, what they observed made them immediately suspicious. The vehicle was shaking, and inside the back seat, they found Joseph, shirtless and wearing red shorts, and a 15-year-old boy. Both were in the process of hastily pulling up their pants.
So what are you guys doing out here?
We was just chilling, that's all.
Just chilling.
It was getting hot in the car, so I just took my shirt off.
Well, when I walked up, you were putting your shorts on.
No, my shorts, because a lot of times, when my shorts, they get kind of stuck.
First, he claimed they were just chillin' and that he had removed his shirt due to the heat. Then he said his shorts were stuck from sitting in what he described as a wet car. The excuses kept coming, each one more transparent than the last, as the deputies methodically dismantled his story piece by piece. But here's where the story gets even more disturbing. The investigation revealed that Joseph and the boy had met earlier that day on Grindr, a dating app primarily used by the LGBTQ+ community that explicitly requires users to be at least 18 years old.
So, who's this guy?
A friend of mine.
Okay, how old is he?
18.
This wasn't a chance encounter. This wasn't a momentary lapse in judgment. Joseph had actively sought out this connection on an app designed for adults, arranged to pick up a child from his home, and driven him to an isolated, abandoned location specifically chosen for privacy. The boy had provided his address to Joseph, who picked him up and drove to the golf course for seclusion. According to the arrest report, what happened next in that back seat was a clear violation of the trust that society places in adults to protect children. The boy confirmed to authorities the intimate nature of the encounter, providing details that aligned perfectly with the physical observations the deputies had made: the shaking vehicle, the disheveled clothing, the panicked attempt to make themselves presentable when the flashlight hit the windows.
How old are you?
I'll be 48.
What were you guys doing?
Huh?
What were you guys doing?
We were just sitting back, she was talking, and I told the cop, I said, I took my shirt off because it was getting hot in the car.
When questioned, Joseph maintained his story that they were just talking, that the heat had forced him to remove his shirt, and that there was nothing inappropriate happening. But the deputies weren't buying it. They'd seen enough in their years of law enforcement to recognize the signs of deception, and Joseph's story was falling apart faster than he could construct it.
Well, you guys had your pants down. You
I didn't
don't have
have
to
my
lie.
pants down.
I kind of figure what's going on.
I didn't have my pants down, though.
No, he did.
He had his pants down?
The more the deputies questioned Joseph, the more his excuses began to crumble.
Who is he to you?
I just a friend.
Where'd you meet him?
I met him a couple days ago, and then we wanted to meet up just to get to know him, and that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing crazy, you know.
Nothing crazy? So you met him online, you said?
No, well, not online. I met him, like, we was in Walmart one day, and then that's why.
But here's the thing about lies. They're hard to keep straight, especially when you're under pressure and facing law enforcement officers who are trained to spot inconsistencies. When the deputies questioned the 15-year-old boy separately, his story was completely different. The teen told officers that he had actually met Joseph for the first time that very day through the Grindr app, not weeks earlier at Walmart, as Joseph had claimed.
You didn't meet him at Walmart a couple weeks ago?
Who?
You didn't meet him at a Walmart a couple weeks ago? You're saying you just met tonight. He's saying you met 2 weeks ago at Walmart and exchanged information. And you guys been talking since. That's not what happened? So you first met him today on Tinder?
Yeah.
The confrontation on the body camera footage shows the moment when Joseph's defenses finally began to crack. The deputy, clearly frustrated with the evasive answers and obvious lies, pressed harder.
So you're not gonna tell me what's going on? No.
That was.
If that's what you guys are doing, that's what you guys are going to do.
Right.
At some point.
Right.
It is what it is.
Right.
You know, people do it all the time, but you don't need to lie.
Okay. Yeah, I was sucking him.
Okay. All right.
And there it was. After all the excuses, all the claims about the heat and stuck shorts and innocent conversations, Joseph finally admitted to the inappropriate conduct. But even in his admission, he tried to shift responsibility, claiming the boy had told him he was 18 years old.
But he said he had taken his shirt off only because it was hot. But he too conceded that he met the minor on Grindr. But that requires users to be at least 18, a requirement easily circumvented, obviously. So the preacher said the boy told him he was 18, according to his arrest report. He admitted to engaging in sex with the child. That would amount to unlawful sexual activity, a second-degree felony.
This defense, that he believed the victim was of legal age, might sound reasonable to someone unfamiliar with the law. But here's the critical fact that Joseph either didn't know or chose to ignore. Under Florida Statute 800.04, which governs lewd and lascivious battery, ignorance of a minor's age is not a defense. The law doesn't care what the perpetrator believed. It only cares about the actual age of the victim. Joseph was arrested at 12:51 in the morning on July 15th, 2022, and charged with lewd and lascivious battery on a victim aged 12 to 16, a second-degree felony that carries a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison. But here's what makes this case even more infuriating. Joseph posted a $15,000 bond and was released by 10:39 in the morning that same day. Less than 12 hours after being caught in that back seat, he was free to go home, albeit with a court order barring him from contact with minors. Meanwhile, the 15-year-old boy he had victimized was left to deal with the trauma, and his family was left to pick up the pieces of their shattered trust and sense of safety. The response from Joseph's church, Destined for Greatness Ministries, was swift. They placed him on sabbatical and issued a statement expressing prayers for both the victim and the accused, while committing to cooperate fully with authorities. But this response, while seemingly appropriate on the surface, raises uncomfortable questions. How much did the church leadership know? Were there warning signs that were ignored? Had anyone else in the congregation noticed anything concerning Joseph's behavior, particularly around young people? The Flagler County Sheriff's Office, led by Sheriff Rick Staley, emphasized the importance of parental vigilance when it comes to children's online activities. In statements following Joseph's arrest, Sheriff Staley praised the Major Case Unit for their work on the investigation and urged parents to actively monitor what their children are doing online. As the summer of 2022 turned into fall and then winter, the case slowly made its way through the legal system. Joseph's attorneys began working on plea negotiations with prosecutors, trying to find a resolution that would avoid a lengthy trial and potentially reduce the severity of the punishment. For more than a year, the victim and his family waited for closure, waited for justice, while Joseph remained free on bond. The case initially proceeded toward a trial scheduled for late summer 2023, but on August 31st, 2023, Joseph entered a guilty plea. The plea was negotiated between defense attorney Stephen Robinson and assistant state attorney Melissa Clark, shifting from what's called an open plea, where the judge has complete discretion in sentencing, to one with a recommended sentence that the prosecutor and defense agreed upon. This change in plea strategy was significant. An open plea would have left Joseph completely at the mercy of the judge, who could have imposed the maximum 15-year sentence. By negotiating a recommended sentence, Joseph's legal team was able to secure some level of predictability about what punishment he would face. But for the victim and his family, this negotiation must have felt like yet another betrayal, watching as the system allowed Joseph to have a say in his own punishment after what he had done. The sentencing hearing took place on November 29th, 2023, more than 16 months after that night at the abandoned golf course. Circuit Judge Terrence Perkins presided over the proceedings in the Flagler County Courthouse, where approximately 10 supporters of Joseph sat in the gallery, potentially prepared to speak on his behalf if needed. Joseph himself remained largely silent throughout the hearing, responding only to procedural questions from the judge. There was no dramatic statement of remorse, no tearful apology to the victim or the community he had betrayed. Just silence. But then came the moment that truly captured the human cost of Joseph's actions. The victim's mother, participating remotely via Zoom, delivered an emotional statement that laid bare the devastating impact on her family. Her words, though brief, carried the weight of a mother's anguish. "It did change my life and my son's life tremendously. I went through a lot of mental health things. I just pray everything works out for this gentleman. And just know that it really affected my family a lot. It affected me as a mother, a lot." Judge Perkins accepted the negotiated plea and sentenced Joseph to 5 years in the Florida State prison system with no possibility of early release. But the punishment didn't end there. After serving his prison term, Joseph would face 10 years of specialized sex offender probation, a decade during which every aspect of his life would be monitored and restricted. The conditions of that probation are extensive and severe, designed to minimize any risk of reoffending. Joseph must register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, meaning his name, address, and photo will be publicly available on Florida's sex offender registry for anyone to see. He faces a mandatory curfew from 10 in the evening until 6 in the morning every single day. He cannot live within 1,000 feet of schools, parks, playgrounds, or any location where children regularly gather. He is completely prohibited from any unsupervised contact with anyone under the age of 18. Supervised contact would require explicit court approval, which seems highly unlikely given the nature of his crime. The employment restrictions are equally comprehensive. Joseph is banned from working or volunteering at daycares, zoos, malls, theme parks, or any other venue where children are present. But perhaps most significantly, given his background, he is explicitly and permanently barred from serving as a pastor or in any church leadership capacity whatsoever. The very identity he had built for himself over decades, Overseer Alfonso Joseph, the spiritual leader, the man of God, was now legally forbidden to him. He could never again stand in a pulpit, never again counsel members of a congregation, never again position himself as a moral authority in any religious community. Joseph was immediately taken into custody after sentencing. He was booked into Flagler County Jail at 3:30 in the afternoon on November 29, 2023, under booking number 2023-00002905. Just over a week later, on December 6th, at 3:08 in the morning, he was transferred from the county jail to the Florida Department of Corrections to begin serving his state prison sentence. Do you think Alfonso Joseph knew the boy's real age and tried to hide under the grinder age requirement? Let me know what you think in the comments. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.